Yeah, Natalie, quite rightly pointing out this is very difficult for people who've got to pay expensive train fares, expensive tickets, expensive hotels. But Dan, let me talk about it from the players' point of view. This North London derby is a good example. Very important game for both teams. How does it work for the players? Arsenal might have a whole lot of games in the month. Spurs might have will have a 15-day gap between one fixture and the next. They're both not ideal, are they?
Well, my experience of being in successful seasons where you're playing 60-odd games and competing on three fronts is a joyous one. And I never heard any complaints. The thing is, when you're playing big games all the time, you get used to it and you get physically ready and mentally ready. You get better at doing it the more you do it. So the squads are better and bigger than they've ever been. You've got 5 subs. I can't bear listening to players or managers whinge about fixture scheduling. You are talking about elite level football. You're very, very fortunate to be doing it. I love to play in games. And the squad you have now, with a bit of clever rotation and players playing maybe 65, 70 instead of 90, you can go again in a couple of days. I've got sympathy. Natalie was right about the supporters. They're suffering the most again. And that is just, unfortunately, collateral damage, I'm afraid, in the way football is. You can't have the best of both worlds. You can't be earning 100, 200 bags a week because the TV money and the wonderful product, the Premier League and all the other Champions League, etc., is going across the world and being loved and lapped up, and have these wonderful pros, because these advantages because of it, and then on the flip side going, we're playing too much physically, we're going to be struggling. You've got 5 subs, you've got 25 international players in the squads of the best teams. Shut up whinging and moaning. The fans have got something to moan about. The players and the managers have got nothing to moan about. Just get on with it.
I do notice that the PFA have put their oar in for this proposed friendly between Spurs and Newcastle in Australia 3 days after the season ends and before teams get together for the Euros. I think the PFA is just saying, hang on, what exactly is going on here?
The PFA are about as useful as a chocolate fire guard. I mean, I don't even get me started on them and their help towards players and plights of players over the last 5 years, 10 years I've been involved in trying to deal with them. They're absolutely useless. And let's get something right. You're paid a ridiculous amount of money and given wonderful contracts by some of the best clubs on the planet, and you think that the manager or the CEO or the chairman or the technical football director is going to go and see a player, and the player is going to actually go, oh, I'm not particularly happy about flying there because I'm going to get the PFA involved. They'll be there. And the only reason they won't be there is the player is clever and cute and blags a little injury so he can go on holiday with his family. I've seen that many times. The PFA getting involved ain't going to do diddly.
Okay, thank you very much, Danny. It took you 3 hours to get on your hind legs, but there you are. Thank you very, very much indeed.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.